Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for standing by and welcome to Visual BI's webinar. Today, we will be discussing SAP's BI and Analytics Strategy and Statement of Direction. During the presentation, all participants will be in listen-only mode. If you have a question during the presentation, please submit it via the Q&A portion of the screen. Simply type your question into the box and click the send button. Our presenter will address questions at the end of the presentation, time permitting. If you don't hear an answer to your question today, don't worry, we will deliver answers to you individually after the webinar. The webinar is being recorded and a link to the replay will be sent to you via email. Presenting today is Gopal Krishnamurthy. Gopal is the founder and CEO of Visual BI Solutions. I will now turn the presentation over to Gopal.
Thank you, Darby. Good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining our webinar, a very keen topic with over 500 registrants registered because of the interest and the timing of this webinar. And I wanted to thank you upfront for joining our webinar. I do wanted to tell you all that this webinar is being recorded and all of the slides will be shared with you all. Let's start off with the legal disclaimer. Because of the nature of the content and a lot of these contain SAP's roadmap and statements, we strongly recommend that this is only a Visual BI point of view and you should not use this for any purchase decisions. Instead, you should consult with SAP, and this is our official legal disclaimer. I wanted to introduce the webinar agenda because we have a pretty interesting webinar agenda, because since we announced the topic in the last 30 days, there has been a lot of numerous announcements by SAP regarding the statement of direction, not just from the BI and analytics, but also about the data warehouse, the B4 HANA, the data warehouse cloud. So there are a lot of clarifications that has announced in the recent SAP 25th decade. And we wanted to include all of those aspects for our audience. And so what we are going to do is, once we introduce Visual BI, we will talk about the current state that a lot of the BI managers and BI leaders are facing. What is SAP's vision and outlook, and how their strategy is being formed in terms of the three different perspectives. Some of the key platforms and innovations we will talk in terms of the data warehouse aspect of it, and then we will switch to the SAP's new BI and analytics statement of direction, and then we'll open it up for Q&A, time permitting. I'm sure a number of you have been attending our Visual BI webinar, but for those who are attending for the first time, Visual BI is an organization that focuses on enabling customers for BI and analytics. We are fairly unique in the perspective that we not just focus on providing consulting services to organizations. We have several very innovative software products, and we also provide training for visualization products and also for BW and HANA customers. One of the things that I wanted to share with you is, even though this is an SAP-centric webinar, we are also a gold partner of Microsoft. We are a Snowflake featured partner. We are also a Looker and Alteryx partner as well, because as an organization, we focus on enabling BI and analytics to our fairly large customer base. And for those who are attending our webinar regularly, you will see, Visual BI consistently acquires new customers because of our offerings with our software products, our services, and our training offerings. And thanks to our customers, and we have several successful products, and I wanted to highlight the couple of products that you should be pretty intrigued is. One of them is ValQ, which is basically for self-service planning and simulation, and I would like you to check it out. It's available for SAP Lumira as well as Microsoft Power BI. We also recently launched XVis for Power BI, which is an evolution of VBX for Lumira, which was the #1 extension offering for SAP Lumira Designer in the SAP App Center. So I strongly request you to check out XVis, which is one of our recent product offerings. And also VBI View helps you manage multiple BI platforms and provide a smart search and a consolidated user experience for multiple BI tools if you are one of the 70% of the organization that are running multiple BI tools. One of the things that I also wanted to touch on, even though the company is Visual BI, because of our focus in BI and analytics, more than 70% of our revenue actually come from the non-visualization offerings, meaning implementing B4 HANA. We are one of the customers with several B4 whole life B4 success stories. We are also trying to be an evangelist for SAP Data Warehouse Cloud, and also we have been implementing SAP Analytics Cloud for over last 3 years, pretty much from when it was Business Objects Cloud. And we are also implementing Snowflake for a number of customers that are moving to the cloud data warehouse offering from Snowflake or Azure SQL Data Warehouse. I just don't want you to think just because we are Visual BI, we can only do visualization. We as a company, we can cater to all your BI and analytics needs. So let's look at the current state of the BI and analytics. I'm sure a number of you have a lot of things that you want to ask me, a lot of things that you want to learn from this webinar. But there is a commonality across all of the customers. If you look at the current state, there is a consolidation challenge of products and tool diversity. There are some SAP BI and analytics tool. There are some non-SAP. There is a data diversity. There is a structured, unstructured, on-premise, cloud. Some are simple flat files. Some are in memory. Then there is an IT versus what IT likes to buy, what the business units want to buy. Then there is a challenge, do I upgrade or do I re-platform? So these are some of the tactical challenges facing the customers. But then the question is, do I go to SaaS and go to cloud and shift all my CapEx into OpEx? Or what do I do with an existing investments? Are they now a sunk cost? How do I transition from the older platforms to the newer platforms? Is there any adoption, any benefits to being an early adopter or being a kind of a late adopter and being, let the tools mature first? And then you have the CIO vision of being cloud first, or I want to be cloud everything. And then the question comes, okay, which cloud do I pick? Do I pick Azure, or do I pick Amazon, or do I pick GCP? There was an announcement yesterday by SAP that Azure is their preferred cloud of choice. So SAP actually made it easy for you. That SAP did a massive partnership deal. So this is the latest stuff of the news yesterday, that SAP has signed up a partnership with Microsoft Azure. So that is their preferred for hyperscale cloud choice. So they kind of made it easy. That's the SAP's announcement. Then the question of, okay, do I bring my own device or tool, or how do I do the data lake? So there are a lot of challenges. And then comes resourcing. Okay, there are a lot of new technologies. There is a lot of talent. How do I retain my talent? Where do I go for this new skill set? How do I sustain my legacy systems versus innovate? So a lot of these challenges are pretty much common across all our customer base, and also with a lot of the prospects that we talk. What I wanted to tell you is you are not alone. These challenges there isn't any one customer that is running perfectly and they have it figured out. They are having some sort of a challenge in these metrics of things that I have put forward. And we are going to use this webinar as a way to unclog some of those doubts and clarification that you may be looking for. I do wanted to lead off by saying there are two vendors that are disturbing the market, that is actually driving the strategy of the major vendors like Oracle, IBM, or for SAP. Snowflake is actually on fire in the cloud data warehouse market, and we are being a Snowflake partner. We see a lot of customers trying to move their data warehouse operations into their cloud, and we see them a lot in large enterprises. Snowflake is basically pretty much in every customer is looking at and evaluating. So on the data warehouse front, the innovation leadership is actually coming from Snowflake. And on the front end aspects, BI and analytics, you may have seen the Gartner quadrant, you may have seen the Forrester. Power BI is actually leading the market. So what is happening is someone like SAP is now trying to attack both Snowflake through their data warehouse cloud offering, and then through Power BI through their SAP Analytics cloud offering. So they are trying to attack on both fronts to catch up to the leader and probably become the leader once it was. But we are going to see how their strategy is playing out to catch up to these market leaders. So let's look at the SAP's own vision and outlook and some of the key themes they announced. One of the things that you will see, we wanted to be as authentic for this webinar, so we took a lot of SAP's official roadmap for yours. So it's technically a lot of them are SAP, and we just overlaid with our point of view. So we kind of try to theme the presentation also to say that these are actually content that you will see in SAP's roadmaps and SAP's blog as well. So when you look at the key themes from SAP, they definitely want to accelerate and deliver on the cloud. And one of the things that they understand is a lot of their legacy customers, they have a lot of on-premise investment. So one of their strategy is hybrid BI, which means they want to continue to support how do you consume data from your BW or business objects, which are your on-premise investments. Provide tighter integration to their new cloud purchases. So basically they want to kind of provide a better integration to on-premise and cloud or any new applications that you may buy like Ariba or SuccessFactors or Fieldglass. And then they want to make the UI and the consumption experience, how they sell, also much more simpler. So these are the key themes that you will see in a lot of the SAP's messaging and product positioning. And from that, you keep hearing that cloud, hybrid BI, integration, and simplicity. One of the things I wanted to touch on is just to get the level set. This has been one of the problems for a lot of us. I want to let's level set because of so many name changes across the board. We used to have SAP BW, and then there was SAP BI. So BW is your legacy data warehouse that can run on your Oracle, SQL, or even the SAP BW on HANA. It's SAP Business Warehouse, which is your data warehouse, legacy data warehouse. And then SAP's recent, probably in the last 2-3 years, they had B4 HANA, which is nothing but your BW running on HANA, which is optimized for HANA, which is their current legacy recommended tool of choice for data warehouse. And then they have their in-memory database, which is SAP HANA, which you could technically use for doing your HANA sidecar data warehouse. Then SAP shifted to SAP Cloud Platform, which is nothing but your HANA database as a platform as a service in the cloud, where you could use for both analytics and operational applications. Then SAP announced HANA Enterprise Cloud, which is for actually where SAP is doing a private cloud hosting for you, not a public tenant, where the HANA Enterprise Cloud is hosted and managed by SAP, which is your HEC. Whereas the SAP Cloud Platform was the public tenant. So there was a public offering as well as a private tenant offering. And now let's talk about the new things. So now, as of SAP TechEd, that is last month, SAP has an offering called SAP Cloud, which is nothing but your database as a service. That is HANA database as a service, which is HANA in the cloud. And then there is SAP Data Warehouse Cloud, which is your data warehouse as a service in the cloud. And then your SAP Analytics Cloud, which has been there in the market for the last 3 years. This comprises of SAP HANA Cloud Services. Everything follows the cloud, the integration, the hybrid, the theme. So let's look deeper, but I wanted to try to take you all through an evolution of where we are here from a data warehouse perspective, because a lot of you are very keen on data warehouse and analytics. One of the things, if you really look at the evolution, BW on SQL Server or Oracle or DB2 has been there from 97 for 14 years, your classic database, data warehouse. The challenge with that is the biggest advantage was you had pre-delivered business content extractors and pre-delivered business content, which customers loved, and a lot of the SAP customers have BW in place. But because of the advancement in the in-memory technologies, SAP wanted to take advantage of the performance challenges, though they came up with SAP HANA Enterprise, which was your sidecar, because customers wanted lightning fast performance. So the HANA EE as a sidecar came about that. But then HANA EE did not have the same business content capability, so SAP introduced, maybe we should put the BW instead of a classic DB to a SAP BW on HANA. So that followed in 2012, and guess what? It was very popular. It caught on fire, but then the market shifted to cloud. So everybody wanted to buy only cloud and SaaS offerings. So SAP announced in 2017 the SAP Cloud Platform, which was nothing but your HANA in the cloud. But then the fundamental challenge of lack of business content extractors and business content hurt SAP Cloud and HANA EE. So SAP thought it's wise to make B4 HANA, which is re-engineered for HANA, optimized for HANA, and it can be a choice for your on-premise customers. So if you are a customer that doesn't want to go to cloud, B4 HANA is still SAP's recommended choice. And then because of companies like Snowflake and Azure Data Warehouse, the cloud data warehouse in the cloud really picking up the data lake scenarios, SAP entered or entering this market with the SAP Data Warehouse cloud offering, and we will be touching on it. So this gives the foundational knowledge on the evolution of the data warehouse, both on the on-premise side and on the cloud side. So let's look at the HANA Cloud, the foundation. One of the things, the HANA has been there for the last 8 years. It's in memory. Everybody is aware of all of this. But if you paid a close attention, there has been a lot of innovation in the last couple of years to be making it more cloud ready, especially regarding the elastic scale. You want to pay attention to the elastic scale because HANA was an on-premise. If you bought a 1 terabyte HANA box, that's it. You have to go buy a new appliance because if you have more data. With an elastic scale in the cloud, it makes it much easier to scale as you need more memory. It also gives you a lot of flexibility. Instead of CapEx, it's now an OpEx, which customers love with the cloud. SAP also, with the hybrid BI strategy, they introduced very good virtualization capability. So you could technically use your data warehouse cloud and actually kind of connect to, through virtualization, connect to your legacy data sources like cloud data sources, your application data, and extend to the third-party application. So they just broadened what the HANA Cloud can do over the last 2 years with the metadata, caching, federation. A lot of cool features have come in. One of the things that I wanted to touch on is you will keep hearing this word elastic scale a lot because customers want to say buy 128 gig, but they want to license 128 gig. They want to probably pay for 128 gig of storage and probably commute. But as the usage and the adoption picks up, then they want to scale. That's what is an elastic scale. Whereas in a fixed scale, you commit to use this much. So even though you may scale to 0.5 terabyte, but you commit to spend 0.5 terabyte in fixed scale when your consumption is only 128 right now. Before even the adoption picks up, you spend a lot of money on the fixed scale overhead hardware, and it's much more expensive. That's where, if you notice, the elastic scale is the future because customers want to pay for what they are actually consuming at that point of time, with the flexibility to react to the new demand and the new workloads. So one of these things that you will see a lot is now SAP HANA Cloud gives you the ability to do automatically scale up or down, scale out. You can scale out HANA, you can scale out just the data, you can scale out the compute. A lot of various different combinations that customers have been longing for. SAP is now finally able to deliver them through the SAP HANA Cloud. One of these things that you will keep hearing about, hot, warm, and cold storage. SAP has really laid it down where, depending on what you want to pay for, they have really perfected this storage flexibility where, based on how much you want it in hot and or the cost is important, they are giving you so many different options, whether it is a data lake or you want to move it to Hadoop, based on how you want to persist and how often the data changes. So you can see this is pretty self-evident. A lot of the options are now being provided to the customers. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about in terms of the various scenarios that SAP is trying to address through these innovations is it helps you accelerate to the cloud. It helps you centrally store and manage data, because one of the challenges, okay, we have data here in BW, we have this in SQL Server, we have this here in Oracle. So now this whole architecture allows you to manage all the data centrally. And then they are also trying to use virtualization, and also I will touch on semantic layer to simple access to all your data. So those are the scenarios that they are trying to address. So let's talk about the next section, the three different perspectives. We will talk about the cloud and the data warehousing, and then the consumer perspective of how to evaluate all of this. So from the cloud BI perspective, the HANA cloud is actually the foundation where a lot of your applications data, a lot of your data can actually be there. And then there is a dedicated data warehouse layer where it is more where you can bring the data, you can model the data from various sources. So if the HANA cloud, think of it as just data storage from a lot of different places coming, and then data warehouse cloud is a layer where you can model like a more business-centric modeling. Analytics cloud is a layer where you can actually report on or build some planning and predictive applications on top of it. So let's just look at the data warehousing perspective, the statement of direction. One of the things, the goal is the hybrid BI. So you can technically leave your data like your HANA or your SQL data warehouse or your B4 HANA, and then you can even bring them to HANA cloud through virtualization, and then the data warehouse cloud could be on top. And then you can integrate various different data types, more business-centric modeling. When it doesn't matter whether the data is in cloud, on-premise, or hybrid, you are able to bring them together from a data warehousing principles. Now, when you look at the analytics cloud, where the same concept, it doesn't matter where your data is it in on-premise, hybrid, or another cloud application, analytics cloud can consume all of them. They have a BI module, they have a planning module, they have a predictive module, and they also have the analytics designer, which is your Lumira designers next in the cloud. And the beauty of it is BI and analytics designer are actually part of one package. It's actually one price. It's not like two different pricing. So when you buy BI licensing, analytics designer is actually included with it. It's for business builds BI stories. That's for storyboarding. IT builds applications using analytics designer. So it's the same concept like Lumira Discovery and Lumira Designer. Now it is available in the cloud, in the public SAP Cloud, HANA Cloud. So I'm coming back to B4 HANA because the reason is now customers are, I have introduced Data Warehouse Cloud, I've introduced Analytics Cloud, then the customers are wondering, we just went live with B4 HANA, we thought that is the latest and greatest, is it already dead? So this doubt, I'm sure a lot of you have it, and I wanted to address that. So we touched B4 HANA is actually about 3 years old. It started as an evolution of BW on HANA, more where it optimizes HANA more, and it's an on-premise customer, SAP customer that wants to go from BW on HANA or a legacy BW, they can transition to B4 HANA. Today, it's a fairly very well mature product because it has been in the market for 3 years. It has a lot of the capabilities, and if you are a customer that wants to be an on-premise customer, your cloud strategy is not near term, we continue to recommend that they go from BW to B4 HANA. One of the reasons is they have continuous innovations going on in B4 HANA. It's not like they announced Data Warehouse Cloud, B4 HANA is dead. They are trying to provide an integration to Data Warehouse Cloud to B4 HANA. Same thing with Analytics Cloud, SAP Data Hub, HANA Cloud Platform. They are modernizing the UI with the B4 HANA. They are continuing to invest in providing the same data tiering, hot, warm code stage to B4 HANA as well. They are also trying to make the hybrid scenario work seamlessly between B4 HANA and Data Warehouse Cloud. So when you look at all of these investments that is happening to B4 HANA, I do firmly believe B4 HANA is here to stay. One of the things that you will see when we come and talk about data warehouse cloud and then compare, you will get an idea. One of the things that they are focusing on, a BW or a B4HANA is thought of a tool that only IT actually works on. It's not perceived or seen as a tool where business can actually collaborate or business can actually do the modeling. So the world is moving towards more self-service. There is more and more cloud solutions being deployed, like Ariba, SuccessFactors, a lot of them. So it's not like a simple SAP ERP to coming to BW anymore. So one of the things is you do need a cloud data warehouse, because most of the data is going and it is constantly increasing to the cloud. So what data warehouse cloud does is it's actually helps companies to easily get going, set up a data warehouse cloud instance in the cloud, connect to your cloud data sources or any external cloud applications like say Salesforce or on-premise data source, bring it into the data lake. But the business modeling capability, the business ability for the business to interact in a semantic modeling and then provide an easy consumption, that's the vision of data warehouse cloud. One of the things that SAP is kind of reiterating, that they are moving the product, reducing the technical complexity so that an analyst can play a bigger role in actually the data management or the data warehouse cloud. Inside the data warehouse cloud, now they are able to perform more action because they have reduced the complexity of how things are done compared to before HANA. So now this is going to be the question I said, what happens for the before HANA? One of the things is you can see on the roadmap, they plan to integrate and they plan to extend the hybrid. So where before HANA can coexist with data warehouse for cloud, depending on whether it is an IT driven project or what business want to take upon themselves. It's something you have an option of something that is agile, but something that is more scalable enterprise like before. You have both options basically for the customer to basically continue to use before HANA, but then also use data warehouse for a lot of their cloud applications. So this one I wanted to touch on, it's a very, very important slide, is, okay, I'm currently a before HANA customer. Why would I invest in data warehouse cloud? Because it has a lot of unique capabilities that I touched on. It is native to a cloud. It's completely cloud. It doesn't take much to get set up and start. You just go to the cloud, sign up for trial, and pretty much no upgrade needed, no maintenance. It has the elastic computing available, which means you can start very small and then you can scale as you need. There is a semantic layer for business modeling being provided. And I think one of the things is the more and more business self-service flavor will come into the data warehouse, where businesses will play a bigger role in modeling. And then it is a kind of a self-service data warehouse platform. So you can see it has its own benefits compared to before HANA. And then SAP has made a clear statement that data warehouse cloud is not intended as a replacement for your on-premise BW, because one of the things that is happening is customers are looking at data warehouse cloud to retire their BW. So that's how they are evaluating. I don't think so it is a fair evaluation. And so what is happening is they are coming out disappointed. Oh, I want to move all my BW content to data warehouse cloud and retire BW. Maybe it can happen as data warehouse cloud matures, but I don't think so it is in SAP's short-term vision. So the other thing that I wanted to tell you is there are three major scenarios that SAP is trying to address with data warehouse cloud. One of them is the data warehouse modernization. You can use that. You can accelerate the time to market. One of the frustrations a lot of BW customers have is how long it takes to deliver some projects, create the extractors and move about. So this is where the time to market will be an advantage with data warehouse cloud. And then more cross application, cross modeling. So my data could be in two different cloud applications. It's much easier to model and get moving much quicker. And then a much tighter integration to analytics cloud, because some of the capabilities are already embedded in data warehouse cloud. So they are in the same platform and they are also available natively with Data Warehouse Cloud. So you may have some performance gains because they are using the same platform, not much of kind of a layer for the data to move through. So this is basically when you put together Data Warehouse Cloud and Analytics Cloud, just think of it as the data marts for the business. You can have a business catalog defined and then do the business modeling and the transformation right in the cloud, while Analytics Cloud will provide you with ad hoc exploration, visualization, and then the smart insights or the predictive, some of the capability. And also Analytics Cloud has a planning module in case you wanted to get into planning as well. So then let's go on to Analytics Cloud. So SAP has basically made it very, very clear that Analytics Cloud is their go forward analytics platform of choice. So that is there is no two ways about it. And one of the things that the similar concept is, how do I get my business to do more of my analytics thing compared to your traditional business objects where IT did a lot of the things, like even doing your universe building and a lot of these things. Now, if you look at it, the Analytics Cloud is much more intuitive. So you can connect the data, quickly discover and build a story, model, all of that. A business user can do it. So you can see the transition and from being an IT-centric tool to a business-centric tool with Analytics Cloud. Some of the areas where SAP is focusing on is augmented analytics, using machine learning and provide more conversational AI. That is one area where they feel it's a next generation offering through Analytics Cloud. The other area they are focusing on is getting their legacy tools migrated into Analytics tool and provide a better user experience. So you will see a lot on that on the SAP's roadmap. And then try to integrate their several cloud applications, SuccessFactors, Ariba, and Fieldglass, and Concur as an intelligent enterprise concept. So this is one thing I wanted to touch on is, if Analytics Cloud is embedded inside my Ariba or my S4HANA, why do I have to buy Analytics Cloud separately? If you look at it, one of their vision is Analytics Cloud is going to be embedded in all the SAP offerings, so the user experience is same. One of the things is, while it provides limited capability of Analytics Cloud right inside your transactional application, one of the reasons why you want to buy Analytics Cloud separately is, let's say you want to take Ariba data and merge with S4 data, or you want to take the headcount data from SuccessFactors. You want to do the modeling and then calculations and then visualize on top of it. Anytime you have a cross application data need and data merge or modeling need, that's where Analytics Cloud or a Data Warehouse Cloud comes in to help you provide that semantic modeling user experience. While you have limited modeling experience in Analytics Cloud, if you want robust transformation, data cleansing from SAP data, non-SAP data, so that's where Data Warehouse Cloud will come in. But this is kind of the differentiation on the embedded Analytics Cloud that is available versus Analytics Cloud and the Data Warehouse Cloud, the data modeling user experience. The other thing is, there is a lot of investment going on in building line of business partner content, and SAP is also delivering a lot of pre-delivered content with Analytics Cloud. That is something, it helps customers to get started going quickly. And I would like you to, if you are trialing Analytics Cloud, I would strongly recommend you just download a line of business content that is available. It gives you a very good flavor very quickly. Think of it as similar to BW business content. I think SAP is catching up very nicely on the number of connectivity. I think it has matured very well, and I think there is a good number of connectivity options, and it is continuously growing. And we from Visual BI, we think SAP Analytics Cloud has reached a good maturity point where in 2020 we anticipate a lot of our customers to actually start actively trying Analytics Cloud. That is something, because it is a three years it has been in the field, and we have several customers in production with Analytics Cloud, and they are fairly happy with it. And the roadmap, because of the focused investments in Analytics Cloud, we feel there is still room to go, especially on the live versus acquired blending, and especially analytics designer is fairly new and it has to mature. It's not on par with Lumira designer, but you can see the roadmap is very, very busy. There is a lot coming on in analytics cloud. So I do think the tool will continue to mature and then able to provide good support for a lot of SAP customers. One of the things that we constantly hear is we have a lot of applications in Design Studio or Lumira Designer. Is Lumira Designer dead? Do I need to migrate it to Analytics Cloud? I think SAP's vision is that Analytics Cloud is the application design is the future, but if you really look at it, there are some fundamental differences between the two, because Lumira Designer still has certain capabilities that hasn't come in the Analytics Designer. So I recommend customers to kind of wait and watch. But for now, you don't have to panic and then say, oh, stop, because business objects, I will be touching on that, is continue to support it for till 2024. So one of the reason the customers cannot really go to the SAC's app design right now is a lot of the customers use Lumira Designer because of the mobile app. Today, even if you go to app design, you go get started and build an app design. There is no mobile app with SAC. It's coming soon. It's not there. And since mobile is a key requirement for a lot of customers, they continue to use the Lumira Designer for now. And a lot of you have questions on Analytics Cloud. So what we have done is we wanted to take Analytics Cloud as a future topic by itself. On November 21st, we are going to review Analytics Cloud in detail, because this 1 year alone, there has been a lot of new feature announcements and a lot of enhancements that have come into Analytics Cloud, and Anto will be talking about it and reviewing this in much closer detail. I wanted to switch back and then talk about business objects and the recent statement of direction that they have done. So one of the things is SAP wants to protect on-premise business objects investment and then enable customers transition to cloud at their own pace. They want to deliver capabilities that were there in on-premise with time to cloud. Until then, they can use the hybrid capability so that they can continue to integrate with on-premise and continue to get the value out of their on-premise legacy business objects investments. They also want to provide a cloud extension where they can actually transition some of the unused maintenance or unused licenses to the SAP Analytics Cloud. And one of the things is they are also investing in providing live access to the business objects universes. So I think if you see, they intend to keep business objects around. That's one of the reasons they are investing in providing a live access. So they are without having to move to the cloud, because a lot of customers do not want to move the data to the cloud. So business objects data or the universes, you can connect to cloud through the live access, which is actually in the SAP's roadmap. And they are also trying to figure out how to reuse your WebI data models and some of the capabilities that you can do with business objects reports. They are all coming. They also have some element of reporting with WebI-like capability that is planned to come in 2020. I want you to watch out for. We haven't seen a preview yet, but it is in the roadmap to give WebI-like reporting capability inside Analytics Cloud. Now, you do not need Datawarehouse Cloud licenses to use SAC, because they have two separate products. One is for the backend data and the other is for the front-end BI and analytics. So something to keep in mind. So when we really look at what they are saying is the Business Objects 4.2, the maintenance is extended till 2024, which is a good 5 more years from now. And then the 4.3 release is, in fact, the beta got announced this week. So 4.3 release is going to come soon. It's going to come in mid-2020, and assuming customers who are in 4.2 upgrade to 4.3, your maintenance will get extended till 2027. So you have a good 8 years to plan your transition to cloud. And within the business objects, they plan to provide a user experience, better user experience for the Launchpad and WebI, and they want to remove Java and switch to the HTML5, and they want to provide more security improvements. And then after 4.3, they plan to do minor releases through more like support packs to make sure a lot of the integration and the interoperability between data warehouse cloud, all of those things, they have it in their roadmap to deliver to the customers. So one of the things they made it very clear is they are not going to deliver every feature that is in business objects in SAP Analytics Cloud, which also tells me that there will always be a use case to keep your webbies and crystal reports around. So there is no reason to panic and completely plan on retiring business objects, because SAP has made it very clear they intend to keep the webby and the crystal reports around, and there is a reason why some customers will always want to be, they don't want to go to cloud because of the data security concerns. So considering those things, if you are a business objects customer, you don't need to panic. You have enough time to plan your transition to the cloud. One of the things, these are just an extension of the cloud extension policy. If you really feel you are ready to move to the cloud today, you can trade your licenses. You might want to talk to your rep about moving from your on-premise to the cloud. And last but not least, customers are concerned about what happens to my Lumira dashboards, what happens to my analysis for Office and the predictive analytics. So one of the things I wanted to touch on each one of them. So Lumira 2.3 just got released, and Lumira 2.4 is planned for mid-2020. So it doesn't look like a tool is going to die if they are planning a release in mid-2020. They have made it clear that there will be feature and performance enhancements will continue into 2024. These are from the official roadmap. One of the things that is very frustrating for us as a partner, I'm sure as a customer, there is no concrete clarity on SAP Lumira, be it discovery or designer or just the designer. The support ends at 2024 or 2027? There is no clarity, and I strongly encourage customers to directly reach out to SAP and put them, because I have several customers on Design Studio and Lumira Designer, and they are wondering, is it supported till 2024 or 2027? It's smartly omitted, let's put it that way. It's not on the FAQ. And I ask customers to ask this question because SAP owes a response to a customer to get a clarity, because one of the reason is we have over 150 customers using our VBX extensions for Lumira Designer, and they have been asking us, okay, how long we are going to be supporting them. We plan to support them. We plan to, as long as you want to run Lumira Designer, as long as SAP provides support, we will continue to support VBX. So we will be there for you. I just wanted to make sure I said it out loud and clear. Same thing on Analysis for Office. Analysis for Office 2.7 is available as an Excel add-in, and there will be a 2.8 release planned for SAP Analysis for Office. The predictive analytics is being supported till 2022, but they have a new offering, SAP Data Intelligence, which is kind of a next generation of the predictive analytics offering. And then Analytics Cloud will have some subset of predictive use cases, so something for you to keep in mind. The other legacy BI tools, which we know for quite a while that we know they were are basically being retired. Let's talk about one by one. Every one of them, all of them, we should be thinking about retiring, if not already. Please do not use them. Excelsius and Explorer are technically dead because of Adobe Flash. I strongly recommend, and SAP recommends, that you move them to Analytics Cloud. There is no ambiguity here. When I talk about Bex Web, Web Application Designer, Excelsius, Lumira Discovery, if you are using any one of those tools, you should be working to move them to Analytics Cloud, because those tools are definitely dead or being retired. And I think I may have some time for Q&A, and I will be taking some questions. There are only a couple of questions. Okay, one of the question is, will there be any migration planned from Lumira Discovery or Webby to SAC? I believe currently there are no plans. One of the reason is SAC is a completely brand new product, and SAP themselves are not investing in kind of a migration plan, and they are hoping some partner will come up with a solution to migrate. But as it stands, there is no real migration plan. You have to basically rebuild them in SAC. question of interoperability to port reports created in your Crystal Webby to SAC. This is another question, again, that touches on the migration. As of today, there is no real migration planned, because they are rather trying to create a hybrid where you can actually continue to use your Webby and then consume the content into SAC, but not porting over the content that is not in the plan yet. One of the other question is, before HANA and HANA with standard business content being enabled in Data Warehouse Cloud, we don't have that information. Even we are very curious, because SAP has made it very clear before HANA will continue to be there in parallel with Data Warehouse Cloud. And I'm thinking primarily, it's just my guess, because we are ourselves looking to investigate Data Warehouse Cloud more. Will the standard business content extractors, everything will be available for customers that are looking to re-implement everything in the cloud? It's something to watch out for, and if we have an information, we will get back to you and let you know. We have an interesting question. When can we expect on-premise 4.3 release to be able to compete with Power BI? The answer is SAC will have to compete with Power BI. The reason is, if you really look at it, SAP's investments are predominantly on the visualization front is in Analytics Cloud. The Business Objects 4.3 will keep business objects around, but they are primarily in with Webby and Crystal and your universes. So it's not apples to apples comparison. The Power BI to SAC is more fair comparison. So, and if you want, there is a webinar on our website where we are comparing Power BI capabilities to SAC's capabilities. So one of the things, what is the core difference between HANA and Cloud and Snowflake? What is the future of Snowflake? It's actually, I would ask the question the other way around. Snowflake is literally on fire. The reason is because of the cost and the ease of use and how fast it takes for a customer to get going. And one of the things that customers love is how fast they can get going with Snowflake. They can build their data warehouse and how much it costs. The cost, the compute and the storage, how they are separated, the cost structure. Unfortunately, on HANA Cloud, those pricing information is not really public and transparent. So it's very hard to really compare. And Data Warehouse Cloud is not actually GA yet. It is actually only in beta. So it's a little too soon to talk about it. But as of now, Snowflake is actually ruling the market right now. We do have some more questions. I just wanted to make sure I look through if there is something. Thank you for all the questions. If I can't answer them right away today because of the time, because this webinar was scheduled for only 45 minutes, but I just wanted to make sure, does Snowflake support BW extractors? Actually, yes and no. It depends. If your your system is ODP enabled, then yes, you can. I think just to be fair, there is quite a number of questions. I don't know if I can really go well beyond this time, but what I would suggest is I would be getting back to each one of you as because of time constraint. But I do wanted to thank you all for posting the questions, and then I would be reaching out to you. And I wanted to thank you all for attending the webinar today, and it has been a pleasure. And if you have any specific questions, please reach out to me and we will try to respond to you, because we value the relationship and you coming to our webinar, and we will be able to get back to you on time. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.